Welcome to this edition of the Banner Press Sports Corner. Thanks for tuning in on your preferred platform. I'm Nicholas Hodell, sports writer at the Brenham Banner Press, and Brenham baseball's bid to return to the playoffs is going well so far in district play. After splitting the last two district series the last couple of weeks, the Cubs entered the week in second place in District 17-5A with a 4-2 district record with another big week ahead against A&M Consolidated. Junior designated hitter Drake Bentke has played a role in a balanced team effort as one of 7 Cubs to drive in multiple runs in district play, as drawing 3 walks and tallying 4 hits during that time. He leads the Cubs of 16 RBI on the year and looks to add on down the stretch. And he joins us in studio this week. Thank you so much, Drake, for hopping in.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me on here. Excited to talk about Brenham baseball.
Absolutely. And it's been a pretty exciting time for you guys with the last couple of weeks and getting a big split against Lake Creek and then salvaging another one against Huntsville. With that game on Friday night, just how impressive was it to watch Dawson Kime do his thing in a complete game?
Well, he's been doing that all year. The thing about him is that he's a really hard worker. Every practice he goes in and works his tail off, and then he's a really low heartbeat guy. He goes in, he has control of his plan, he knows what he's doing, he knows how he's going to go to attack hitters. And he goes out and executes that. He might not have, the fastest fastball that you've ever seen, but he's a competitor. Great command, and we've been playing well behind him. So, excited to keep that up. And that was a big bounce back after, the game on Tuesday didn't go how we planned for it to go. But it was a really big bounce back. Hope to carry that into this week against Consol.
Yeah, and spending most of this year as DH, really the key word is watching him do his thing, because you've been kind of watching the defensive side of things play out in the dugout. Just how different is it to kind of watch a game from a DH perspective as opposed to being out in right field or being at first base?
Well, I've played defense my whole life. You play defense, you lock in every single pitch, and going into the season, I knew I was going to be, DHing a little bit more, which is totally fine. I love it. I got to hit. That's what I do. I got to slug. I got to hit. I got to produce in that way. But, still being in the dugout, I still have to be locked in every single pitch, just because I know those guys are locked in every single pitch, and I want to have their backs. I don't want them to be out there alone. They're the only ones locked in the game. And that's been really for our whole dugout. Everyone might not play, but everybody's locked in. Everybody wants, when Dawson's pitching, everybody wants Dawson to execute that pitch. When a ground ball's hit to Dolan, that shortstop, or Landry at second, we all want him to come up and make that play. Energy's been really good in there. Guys are really focused and locked in, and everybody's happy that we're having success.
Yeah, and being able to split these last couple of series too. I know the split against Lake Creek was huge for you guys of how good Lake Creek has been this year. Last week probably a little more of a salvage than earning a win against Lake Creek, but just how was the team dynamic after this past week and getting that second straight split?
Well, it's really good. We've set ourselves up really well with the way that we played in the first 3 series. Sweeping College Station, that was huge. That was a really big star. College Station's a good team, a team that you figure to be in the playoff mix in the future. So that was really big. And then against Lake Creek, having a split against them, everybody knows them. Everybody knows they're an elite team, and they're going to come out and play. And I was really proud of the way that, Tuesday didn't go as we planned against them at all. But, on Friday, just that ability to bounce back, that was huge. I was really proud of the way. We could have sat down and been like, oh, they're way better than us, which they're not. We're a good team. We could have just sat down and gotten beat again, but, the guys really bounced back. We stayed in it, maintained our composure, and got a big win there. And, against Huntsville, coming off a big win against Lake Creek, that's not what you want to do against Huntsville on Tuesday. But, to their credit, they're a good team. Pitcher pitched really well against us, executed his game plan. And then coming back on Friday again, that win was huge. They're going to beat some teams in district. They're not some bad team. So that was big. I was happy with how we played against them.
Yeah, I know one of the things Coach Wheaton told me after that game is that you don't win 10 games by accident, and certainly Huntsville's had their fair share of wins out of districts. So, just me look at your spot, being in second place in the district, that's obviously a big thing for you guys. And now halfway through your district slate, that's also a big point in the year. Just how much have you seen this team grow just within these last 3 weeks of district play?
Oh, definitely. For the whole entire year, we've been focused. We've been really hard working. I wouldn't say there's dramatic team growth from beginning to now, but guys have really grown into their roles, is what I've noticed. Not everyone's going to go out there and hit 500 and hit a home run a game. We have a really talented team. We have some guys that, can definitely hit some home runs and hit some doubles and make some plays. But we've really just grown as a team, and it's been accepting of a role. I might just be hitting this game, but I got to go out and execute all my bats. I have to be locked in for that. Someone might come in and run. I have to be locked in for this whole entire time that we're running. And so it's really just been unselfish play from everybody involved. And I've been really proud of that, just in the way that it's been more about the team and less about, individual numbers or stats. I mean, those will come if you keep playing well and if you keep performing. But, just really with the growth, I've been happy with that. And, we set ourselves up well for sure, but it's a tough district. Every single game, every single week is going to be an absolute battle. And, other teams are going to throw some punches at us. We're going to throw punches right back. We're never going to give up.
Yeah, and you've seen this the last couple of years. For me being my second year at Brenham, I've seen it the last year now into this year. It's just how much of a beating can this district take on guys if you're not careful.
Oh, I mean, like I said, every single team is going to have talent. Every single team is going to come out and want to beat you. Every single team expects success, which is big. So, I mean, all these teams they went to their practice today and they practice like they're the greatest team, right? They practice like they're a good team that's capable, right? And so it's really just you have to take it pitch at a time. I mean, anyone can beat you. You can beat anyone. I mean, you go into a game, you're either going to be a little less talented, as talented, or a little more talented, which really means that anyone can win. And, it's fun, though, right? I mean, you love going in and playing against good teams and that being a challenge. And we're competitors, so we love competing against those teams. And, we're going to play as hard as we can, and hopefully that comes out with us on top. But, if it doesn't, then and we gave it our all, we'll be happy with that too. Like you said, it is a tough district.
Yeah. And you've certainly been able to maintain a decent mark with hitting in 6 of your last 8, even if they have come ahead at a time for you. It's just what's been the key to not falling into a slump and still getting a hit or two almost every time you step out there?
Well, I mean, it's baseball, so it's tough. I mean, sometimes the pitcher's going to be good. Sometimes you're going to do all you can and put some good swings on the ball and it's going to go right at someone. And so just knowing, just because I had a bad first at bat doesn't mean that I have to have a bad second and third at bat. I mean, it's just being focused every single at bat. And especially, if you're winning big, if you're losing, if it's close. I mean, it's easy to be focused when you're close, right? I mean, that's when you want to win. That's when you are trying your hardest, right? But it gets easy at times when you're winning by a lot or if you're losing by a lot. So, just be like, oh, it's at bat, doesn't matter. But that's when you really have to remain locked in and just know that, the game's not over, right? And it's really just keeping a level mind in that, I might have had a really bad at bat and I still need to be focused. Now, like you said, there's sometimes you can't control things. Sometimes they're going to make a really good pitch. Sometimes the umpire might mess up a call. Sometimes you're going to do everything right and it's going to go right at someone. And it's not letting that affect you and not carrying that into your next at bat.
You know how many times I have perfect lineouts in the show? I feel the pain on that every single time. And just how tough is that to kind of stay with it mentally when something like that happens? You hit a ball perfectly and it's right at the shortstop, or get really good contact and it's right to the wall, right in the warning track. Just how tough is that mentally to kind of let that go and move on?
Well, it's just knowing you have to really take a deep breath and be like, okay, I controlled what I can control. You go into the bat, you try and make hard contact, right? I'm going to try and hit this ball hard at someone and hopefully it lands somewhere, right? Sometimes it's not going to land. But then you just have to know, you can be happy with yourself. Okay, I went in, I executed what I want to execute and did what I want to do. And it just didn't work out my way. And so, I'm going to try and do that my next step at 2 and then hit might not fall again there. But, I'm going to try and do that after that if that happens too.
Yeah, it's all about that short-term memory, I think. And you guys have shown that each of the last 2 weeks with splitting these series and getting both of these wins you guys have had the last 2 weeks on a Friday night on the road. Just what do you think that says about this group to be able to not let the first game of a series affect you guys for the second game and still get yourself a win to give yourself something on the week?
Well, like you said, I think it's having short-term memory. Again, going back to our district being tough. Sometimes Lake Creek, for example, that first game they beat us up pretty bad. They put good swings on the ball. We didn't walk. We might have not even walked one person, or we walked a couple of people. But, they just slapped the ball around. They weren't hitting the ball the hardest, but it was falling. And they were scoring runs, and their arm was really good. And so you're like, okay. They're a good team. They're going to beat us. They might beat us, I guess I should say. But, we're also a good team. We have good players. If we go out and execute, we can beat any team that we play, right? And so it's just knowing that. And it's being comfortable with that. and we're going to play our hardest. And if we don't win, okay, on to the next. But just in the way that we work like we expect to win every game. And hopefully it goes our way, at the end of the day.
Yeah, and of course, baseball is not just one guy, too. You guys have had some other pieces come into this team this year and be really solid contributors, and Dalton Hart's a great example of that, and someone who was featured in our Sunday edition of the Banner Press, and had a great time talking to him, getting to know him a little more, and you've had the same experience, too. You and Landry Mendoza both have gotten to know him really well with some lunchtime conversations and so it's just around the diamond as well. It's just, what can you say about the kind of guy he is?
Well, I know he gets tired of hearing it, but his dad's a winner, right? And so he's going to be a winner. He stepped in, from day one, and he's a guy that wants to win. He's a guy that expects to win. He works like he expects to win. He competes at every single level. He never gives up. He expects a lot of himself, and really talented guy. Of course, our defense, wasn't a bright spot last year. We made a lot of errors at times, and he stepped in. Shortstop's one of the most important positions on the diamond. He's handled that really well. And I think the thing is about him, just like I think the rest of our team as well, is I don't think he's played as well as he can play yet. I still think there's another gear left in him. I think he would say that too. He's been playing an awesome shortstop and hitting well this year, but I still think he can play better shortstop. I still think he can run the bases better. I still think he can hit better. And, I think that's the exciting thing about him, because he's having a great year, right? And then I think you can say the same for our team this year, is that we've been having a great year as well. But I still think we have another gear that we have to unlock. Just look at this past week against Huntsville, for example. Pitching, even in the game we lost 3 runs. In the game that we won, 2 or no runs, kind of did an amazing job. But pitching's been there. I still think we can hit better. I still think we have definitely a higher ceiling for me personally and the team as well, offensively. And I think you'll really start to see that come in the next few weeks. And, if that does and when that does, that's going to be super exciting.
Yeah, and of course the big difference between 16 runs and no runs in the Lake Creek series too kind of adds to that point of just how great that pitching can be for you guys, and you guys have already made a real big improvement, already up on last year's win total by a win thanks to Friday's win at Huntsville, and if you've already matched last year's district win total. Just what do you think that says about this group with several weeks left in the year to already be improving upon what you guys did last year?
Well, I think the big thing there is experience. Last year we had a couple of freshmen, we had sophomores, we had juniors, we had one senior that really played consistently. A couple of others contributed, of course, but just the experience that comes along with that, right? Nothing helps more than experience. You can take as many ground ball reps, swings off the machine as you want, but it doesn't really matter until you step in the arena and you step in to that experience. And it's just the comfort in that. Right, my freshman year going out there, I was nervous. I had experience before. I hadn't seen those arms that we saw before. And now look at now, I'm way more comfortable going into the game. I'm way more at ease. I'm able to control myself more. And that's with all of us, right? Whole infield's juniors. Whole outfield is seniors and a sophomore who's really good. And, that's just, on the mound, we're a little less experienced, but to those credit, guys like Steele, Goss, people like that have really stepped in, and they've shown the composure of someone that's way more experienced than they are. And of course, Dalton Hart and Brody Tucker coming in, like you said, that's huge. They both have 3 years of experience. And it's just, we're way more at ease. We're able to control ourselves more. We're able to do what we want to do more compared to last year. And I think that's what you see in the win total.
Yeah, and Brody, too. You mentioned him as well. He has been terrific behind the plate for you guys and providing some, again, like you said, experience, and also just a real big presence there behind the plate. Just how big has he been in helping out his pitchers and getting this pitching staff to being where it is right now?
Oh, he's amazing. What y'all see, his reflexes, he's so fast, he blocks a lot, his arm is amazing, and he shows it an awful lot, which means he's really confident with it back there. He's erased how many base runners this year, and then he stopped a lot of others from stealing. He's been dynamic back there, to say the least. He's also a great human being. He's the nicest person you'd come across. He's a competitor. during the Fireman's tournament, you saw it. His finger got cut open and had to be bandaged up, and he wanted to stay in the game. And, he was bleeding through that. And, that's just the competitor that he is. In a tournament game, right? I mean, a district game, play 2 games a week. They matter. And that's not to say non-district games don't matter. But he could have just came out, called it a day, called it a weekend. I'm going to be ready for district, but he stayed in there. And that just shows the competitor and teammate that he is.
Especially when you're playing 5 games in a tournament weekend like that. That says a lot about him. We have junior Drake Bentke in the Banner Press Sports Corner this week, and one of many juniors who has picked up a lot of experience. One of the points you've already made from being a freshman to a sophomore and now a junior. And you kind of touched on how important that experience is, especially when you come into a place like Fireman's Park, which is an amazing atmosphere and a district that is amongst the toughest in the whole state. You kind of touched on it earlier, but how important do you think that experience really is in a district like this to get back to the playoffs, which is ultimately the big goal of yours?
We sat down as a group at the start of the year, and, we put us in a room. They left, and they were like, all right, we want y'all to put y'all's goals down in here. And, one of those was playoffs. And I'm not trying to look past that right now, but we've put ourselves in a really good position. And, I'm really excited for the future with that. We have to play well these next few weeks, of course. Like I said, this district, it's easy to lose. We really have to come in ready to work for these next few weeks and really be intentful of what we do. I wouldn't lie and say that our goal isn't higher than make the playoffs right now. We want to go in there. We want to make a run, especially with the way that the playoffs is now with the 5A, D1, and D2. Being the smallest team in the district, I believe.
Yeah, I think by like a half, or maybe it's like, I think it's the second largest by a half a student, and then the last Roman. Yeah, I think Montgomery's at like 1565, and then Brenham's like 1565 and a half in the UIL numbers. So
we're always going to bump down to the D2, which makes it easier for us. That's not to say that we couldn't compete against D1 teams, because we have, and we could. But that makes it a little bit easier. But it's really just coming in. Practice today, putting the work in there. Just be prepared for the game tomorrow.
Yeah, and within this district, you still have Montgomery left, but before that, A&M consolidated this week. And by the time this comes out, you guys have already played 1 game on the road and come back here on Friday for the second game of that series. But just how important these next 2 weeks going to be, and figuring out just how far you guys can take this thing as far as making playoffs and potentially even competing for a district championship.
Well, Consol and Montgomery are 2 of the better teams in our district, just, being where they're from, College Station and the Montgomery area. So that's baseball hotbeds. Those guys are going to be experienced, physical, tough, ready to play. They're going to expect to win against us. And so we're really going to have to come in and play well. But we've also shown, against Lake Creek and College Station that we can compete and beat against those teams. And so it's just coming in with that confidence and that looseness of playing, right? That, we've been here, we've done this. This isn't anything different, and so that's just playing loose. That's what winning helps with, right? You win, everything's good, you're having fun, everything's all well. It's not to say when you lose, you can't be loose and have fun, but it's just easier when you win, of course. But we really need to go in and stick to our game plan, stick to who we are, and then I think if we do that, we'll have success.
Yeah, and A&M consolidated these last few years has been exceptional. The record not quite showing the exceptionalism the program's had as of late. Is that something you guys are at all worried about with that group?
Not at all. They're a great team. They played Lake Creek last week. I think one of the games they lost 3-2 in the 11th or 12th inning. It was something crazy like that. And then the next game they played, they lost 3-2. So they're gonna be a good team. That just shows that if we don't play well, they're gonna come in and kick our behinds. But if we come in and play well, we beat Lake Creek. So we can come in and beat them. We're not really looking at their record. Some of those losses that they had were, at the start of the season when they're trying different things, throwing different pitchers. We're expecting them to be a really good team, and they're definitely going to come in and compete. They're experienced. Like you said, them winning the last few years, they're going to expect to win, especially with the success that they've had against us. So they're going to expect to come in a Fireman's and run us off of there, and we can't let that happen.
Yeah, and defending Fireman's Park, been a little bit of a task as of late, but Fireman's Park is still one of the greatest settings in all of Texas high school baseball with the crowds you guys pick up. And Fridays can be buzzing with youth night as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit as well. But just how much of a privilege is it for you guys to call Fireman's Park home?
Oh, it's amazing. The community support is something else. Part of that comes from the tradition of baseball in Brenham, but some of that also comes from the success that we're having this year. I did notice that at the start of this year we didn't have some of the crowds that maybe we expected or wanted, but as we started winning, and people should expect us to win, people have started coming more, which is amazing. You don't expect that. I mean, like I said, even at the start of the year, it was still packed. But it's gonna be packed on Friday. I expect a lot of people there. But the community is amazing with everything they do for us, all the stuff they provide, the field, all of that. I mean, it's amazing. But you said we have been scuffling a little bit at home. That's true. I actually enjoy playing it away a lot, just based on I love feeding off the energy that other teams' ballparks bring. I mean, I think it's the best thing in the world when you go into some other stadium of someone that wants you to lose, someone that hates you really, and they're just going in there with an I'll show you attitude, and really just wanting to get after them based on that. I like that. I mean, that's not to say that I don't enjoy playing at home. It's amazing. It's the best ballpark in Texas. But playing it away, we definitely feel that as well. We do take things personally with the other team and with crowds, and that definitely brings us energy. Just being in hostile environments and whatnot.
Yeah, are they all kind of pretty similar as far as that's concerned within this district, or do you think there's one or two that kind of goes above and beyond the others?
I think just based on being a baseball district, everywhere is going to be tough to play. Consol this week, I think, is one of, or if not the toughest place to play. They always bring a lot of people in there, but that's always a really fun place to play. But it's really everywhere.
Yeah, and certainly you would expect that in College Station, Montgomery, and places who have I mean, you mentioned baseball hotbeds, and getting Consol and Montgomery in the next 2 weeks back to back, kind of a tougher draw for you all. But just how are you guys trying to handle that and continue to be upbeat through it all?
Well, I think it's just having confidence in the way that we've played so far, and knowing. I mean, we played College Station, which is the other school in the town of College Station, and Lake Creek, which is the other school in the Montgomery area. And there's no, I mean, that might be a little bit better or worse than the other. Who knows? I mean, that's all up for debate. But it's just knowing that we can compete with those schools. And like you said, there may not be. It's the way that we've set ourselves up. And it's showing that we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to go out and sweep Consol and sweep Montgomery to have a chance to go in the playoffs. I mean, we expect to win every single game that we play, and that's how we're going to compete. But it's really just the confidence that has set us up with, and it's the ability to play loose and play fun.
Yeah, and of course, if we begin to wrap things up here, we want to remind you about Youth Night on Friday. You guys are going to have a whole lot of fun with these kiddos. Autographs from 5:30 to 6 is part of this, and then inflatables, face painting, the merchandise will be being sold, and the kiddos will join you guys in the pregame intros, and then they'll get a chance after the game to run the bases with mascots galore, dollar hot dogs. I can't think of a better night for the ballpark than that right there. But just how important is it for you guys to kind of keep that connection with the youngsters here in town?
Well, it's just being a role model for them. I mean, them growing up, they hear from their parents. Their parents probably had a lot of success playing baseball in Brenham. They come out and watch us. And so it's not just playing well, but it's also the way we conduct ourselves, both on and off the field. Because if we realize it or not, I mean, we're interacting with these kids pretty much every day, whether that's in person, on the field, with what they see, social media, or whatever. It's just really being a role model for them. And, hopefully we reward them with good on the field play. I mean, that's what we expect to do. But it's really just being something bigger than baseball. I mean, baseball's huge, right? But it's not life. It's not, the way they need to be treating their parents, the way they need to be treating other people in the community. It's really so we can be a beacon for them.
Yeah, and certainly I can imagine how much you guys with the Little League have that relationship going. How many of you guys potentially volunteer time to help them out or go umpire, things like that? Just from what you've heard or perhaps some of your own experiences, just how gratifying is that to help them out?
Oh, well, it's amazing. I mean, we have a lot of guys that go and umpire down at the Little Leagues, and it's just the interaction with them. Oh, I saw you play. Oh, you got that hit. Oh, you made that error. You suck. Or something like that. But, I mean, it's really great seeing that. And then, when you hear from the parents, or the parents are one of those kids, and they're like, oh, well, he loved his time. He loved come watching. He said he wants to be bear coring when he grows up, or something like that. It's just great stuff like that. It's amazing to hear when you can really touch a kid and really, I don't want to say change the way that they live, because we don't interact with them that much, but or on a daily basis. But it's really just helping them out and making them better people.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they're really looking forward to Friday night and getting that chance to interact with you guys some more. And of course, we're looking forward to chronicling this upcoming weeks. It's a big week for you guys against a really quality and consolidated team. And we'll have all of that in this week's editions of the Banner Press, as well as we mentioned earlier with Dalton Hart, his feature in Sunday's Banner Press. Also some district golf action from this past weekend there as well, with Rayleigh Kunkel advancing on the regionals. The boys in action the last few days and in Montgomery, and have plenty of track and field coverage this week as well, with the district track meets coming up. Big deal there for Bird and Snook and Brenham and College Station with that. And of course, plenty of big updates also in Sunday's Banner Press, from Bird and ISD's bond updates to also some grants being backed by the county commissioner. So that's in Sunday's Banner Press. All kinds of good news also in Tuesday's Banner Press with Brenham softball from their game Saturday. We were mentioning earlier, you guys got a chance to go watch them play. I know it's one of the few times you guys get to do that, so I'm sure anytime you guys get a chance to do that, it's always appreciated, I'd imagine.
Yes, sir. We love going out and supporting them. There's at Huntsville on Friday, if you notice, it was an 8 o'clock game. It got pushed back due to rain, but there was a group of about 5 to 6 of it's football players and JV baseball players that have. There's been more people that have come, but they come to every single one, and they get there and they just holler the whole entire time, and it's amazing. Fireman, a lot of people are going to come. That was really cool seeing that, just because it was in Huntsville, which is a drive, and then it was a little bit later. They showed up full of energy. They had to be told to be quiet by an official from the other team. So that's really cool. And we go out and support the football programs and basketball programs and volleyball and track and soccer. We go out and support all of them when we're not playing. So it's really cool when they come up and show support for us. It just it speaks to the community. It speaks how interwoven we are. And it's really special. I love it.
Yeah, that certainly is the case. And of course, we've shared some of those big headlines in Sunday's Banner Press. And to receive some local information, more of it, that will matter to you, you can subscribe on our website, BrenhamBanner.com, or you can call 979-836-7956. So the good folks here at the Banner Press take care of you over the phone. Again, that phone number is 979-836-7956, and that website is BrenhamBanner.com. Also wanted to keep reminding you to nominate someone who you believe is a rising star in Washington County for inclusion in our 20 Under 40 Rising Stars magazine, which will be released in June. We are currently taking nominations still from now until April 11 from the community for individuals ages 18 through 40 as of June 30 of this year who live and or work in the county and are making positive contributions to the Washington County community. Nominations for us will continue to be printed in select editions of the Banner Press from now until April 11, that due date, and are also available on our website, BrenhamBanner.com, or you can swing by the Brenham Banner Press office here on Stringer Street in Brenham. Self-nominations are not permitted, and incomplete forms will not be accepted. To make sure to completely fill out that nomination form. Again, thank you so much, Drake, and certainly wish you guys good luck this week against a tough A&M consolidated team. I've been Nicholas Hodell. Have a very good rest of your week, everyone.